So in the last videos, I showed you about the capacitors not being charged up enough, things like that. But initially, if your problem's still not fixed, there is two other ways that could fix the problem for you. Of course, you'll see here's your one circuit board, here's the other one. There's two different types here that come out in. Initially, it's no difference. Okay, still disconnecting, connecting. So if you've done all the other options that I've showed you, that means it's not the capacitors, there's some other problem. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. Well, there's two options, and of course, see here, you've got this little wiring here. Okay, so don't, it's all the same thing. And of course, if you get another one, you're going to get this wiring. Okay, it's still doing the same thing, just a different color. All right, but it doesn't matter what you're buying, it's still connecting, disconnecting, connecting, disconnecting. Right, first fix, of course, go into your computer. I can show, so I'll do a video on that, but go into your computer. And of course, as the system starts off, go into your BIOS menu and just make sure that you're, I think it's in advanced options. And there'll be if your computer has it, it'll be called power management or power management system, something like that, similar to that. And of course, you go into that, and if you look at what it says it does, it will say that it adjusts voltages as needed. And of course, remember we were saying about these dropping out in voltage, could be the capacitors not charging, but there is another reason why. And of course, when these come with these wires all crunched up, they're packed quite tightly. All right, and so there's two other options. The power management one could be the issue, so see if that is the issue first, because these cables, as you know, they're quite long. What are these, about 2 meters long, or 1.5 meters long or something? So of course, longer the cable, you're going to need more amps, aren't you, to be going through it. So that's where you need your power management turned on in your BIOS settings of your computer. And of course, if you've got an older computer, it doesn't have that. The way to fix the problem, of course, if you're not needing real long wire, of course, sometimes these actually get a break as well. When they get packaged, they're packaged for quite a while. And of course, there's very thin wires in here. You imagine that's all crunched up. When this comes, it's tightly packed. God knows how long it's been packed like that for before you get it. And of course, you straighten all these wires out, and they'll actually get breaks in these wires. And that can also cause you a problem. So if all of a sudden, if you've got this plugged in, and if you move this wiring around, straighten it right out, and then it says connected again, and as soon as you crunch it up, it disconnects. Quite possibly you've got a break on one of your wires here. So the best thing to do about it, come up to your first bend here. All right, I mean, if you need it a bit longer, go to your second one, or just go and get yourself a phone charging cable and just cut the end off it, and then solder it straight to this one here where the bend is here, or into those ones there. But initially, what you can do if you haven't got the option to go and buy a USB cable and do that, just come up to your first bend here, or your second one if you need it longer, and then come over to this one over here. There's two options here that's going to fix. Number one, if you've got any breaks in the whole system, it's going to get rid of them all, and then it's going to work. And if it's the option where your computer's not actually putting enough power because it's not getting it down the whole wiring, not enough current running through it, well, now you're going to get enough current running through it because you've shortened the wire. Right, and that's going to fix your problem. That's probably the most common thing to be able to fix your problems, to do it that way. Alright, so we're going to get a pair of scissors, cut a section of wire out. I mean, this section here I've probably taken out about close to 1 meter, 800 mil to 1 meter. Rejoin your cable up, get your soldering on, and your solder. Put a bit of solder on them, make sure they're going to stick. Make sure these are all the same length too, don't make some shorter, some longer. These will need to be left the same length. And then of course, after you soldered it, tape each one up individually with a little bit of masking tape, insulation tape, sorry. And then of course you're away. You've got a nice wee short cable, and you'll be fine.